Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Ryan, and today in this video I have something very special for you all, and that is the entire zombie storyline. Now, this isn't the storyline in-game, this is actually the entire storyline and what we can expect in the future. There's so many ties from one single article that I have found, which I will be talking about today, guys, and it really just ties every single piece of unknown thing together in zombies. Anyways, guys, I want to say quickly that this has been talked about before, not in its entirety, but stuff like the Vril-ya and the goldenrod, which I'll be covering in today's video, have been covered. So keep that in mind, guys, before you guys leave some nonsensical hate in the comment section below saying I'm not the first. I'm never claiming to be the first talking about that, but overall, guys, this is the first video on YouTube covering the entire zombie storyline. Anyways, guys, let's jump right into today's video, but please leave a like if you enjoyed today's video, leave a comment with your feedback, and if you guys watch the entire video, and subscribe if you're new to my channel for the latest and the greatest Black Ops 3 Zombies content. Anyways, guys, let's get started. So the first thing I'll be talking about today is the Black Sun cult. Now what this is, guys, is basically, this is everything. I mean, this cult right here is every single piece of zombies. Now, how this originated was in Shadows of Evil, the symbol on the chest of the Keepers is actually the Black Sun cult symbol. This is also seen in Origins, and I'll have pictures of both of these, the Keeper and the Origins Keepers, on screen now. But this basically ties back to the Third Reich during the late 30s, and there's a castle in Germany called the Wevelberg Castle. On the floor of this castle, there is a symbol that looks not identical to this, but very, very similar. This is, again, the Black Sun cult symbol. So now with that said, we'll actually look up the Black Sun cult on the internet. Now, the first thing I found, guys, was a link, and this link is basically where I'm getting all my information from, is this one single news source. So if you guys want to check out the link in its entirety, make sure to click on the link in the description below to read this article. With that being said, if we start to read the article, within the first paragraph, we see the first zombies reference, and it reads, "The wolf Fenris is said to swallow the sun after being released at the beginning of the wolf age, causing the sky to darken." So what do you guys think of when you hear this phrase? I think of personally on the map Riese, or the giant for Black Ops 3 zombies, each dog round, the moon will actually disappear and the sky will get very light. Now keep in mind, guys, this Wikipedia link says it gets dark, but still it's pretty hard to say that this is just a coincidence that on each dog round, the sky will turn bright, and then also at the end of the round. And if we read this thing, guys, it says that the sky darkens at the beginning of the wolf age. Dogs are wolves, dogs are descendants of wolves, therefore this makes 100% complete sense why this does this. The next thing to talk about, I never actually originally believed, which was Samantha's house in Black Ops 3. Once, guys, I started to read this article, everything really started to make sense. And it reads, something asteroid belt. It basically says, if you guys want to read the entire thing, that the first place to be civilized by these people, the Vril-ya and the Black Sun cult people, was in an area that is now in the asteroid belt. So after it says the asteroid belt, it then says, then Mars. So how could this possibly tie into zombies? Well, in Black Ops 3, there's actually a secret diary entry, as well as this image on screen now, from multiplayer, which appears to be Samantha's house floating on an asteroid. Now, even though it may not be a proper asteroid, it is floating, and then the article, or the diary entry, also talks about this, and basically it just shows the house, floating in from somewhere. Could this be the asteroid belt, and could this be one of the civilized places that this article talks about? I'll be covering this later, but I want you guys to see this now. This image, or this diary entry, actually says the children will stay safe in the house. Guys, the children are very important to this storyline, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. So for this next quote from the article, I'm sorry, guys, I can't zoom it in. I'm not really sure how to on Vegas, so I'm sorry you guys may not be able to read it, but let's jump right into this quote itself. What it says, or the important part of this quote, is, Shambhala appears to have been the center of spiritual enlightenment, very reminiscent of James Hilton's Shangri-La. But others say that it was the center of occult power and arcane teaching. Its leader was thought variously to be either an evil, tyrannical sorcerer king, or godlike lord of the world. So what's really funny about this is that there's actually two connections to this. The first of all is in Shangri-La, the map, we actually see an altar that says Richtofen. This is a single person who may have been thought to be a god because he was time traveling through this region. Second of all, this appears to happen in the map called Shangri-La in Black Ops 1 Zombies, as well as the article saying that this is very reminiscent of James Hilton's Shangri-La. Even though they're, not connected because one is a video game and one is a book, it's still kind of funny that they incorporated this Easter egg into the map called Shangri-La based on Hilton's book. The next reference talks about the good and the Vril force. So I'm going to read this to you guys quickly, but it says the sons of the outer intelligences split into two groups. one following the right-hand path under the wheel of the golden sun, the other the left-hand path under the wheel of the black sun. The first preserved the center of Agartha, that undefined place of contemplation of the good and of the real force. So there's two things here, guys, quickly I want to mention. First of all, there are two factions. I'll be talking about this later in the video, so don't forget about this. But the first one is that Agartha is the center of, these people's world. I mean, they really think that Agartha is everything to them. Second of all, the Vril force, they want to preserve the Vril force. Keep that in mind, guys. I'll be talking about that as well in a couple minutes. So going from one intelligence to splitting into two factions we now read, we seem to be left with a choice as to which story we prefer to follow, and evidently which path one desires to follow too, the evil left or the good right. Now this is very ironic because first of all we have two factions in the game. First of all we have Maxis, who's trying to get revenge at Richtofen, and Richtofen, who's wanting you to follow him to kill Maxis so he can have absolute control. Keep that also in mind, guys. There's one more thing we'll be talking about later. But one more thing in-game is that we actually do have a choice which one we want to follow. In Black Ops 2, they had a very cool idea for an Easter egg, which will allow you to basically do 4 of the map, or each DLC's Easter egg, either for Richtofen or Maxis. Now, at the end of the game, in Buried, I'll actually be showing an image on screen now, you guys can actually press the button and decide each one's fate. So, for instance, if everyone in your game has done all of Maxis' Easter egg, he wins when you press the button in Buried. If you guys do all of Richtofen's Easter eggs, all of your people in your party, and the board is completely blue instead of red, each light represents one Easter egg. If every light is blue and you press the button, Richtofen wins. Therefore, guys, this game is allowing us to pick which path we want to follow. So moving on, the next thing we're going to be talking about is the civilization that they named Agartha. I'm going to be reading this guy's word for word. So, blank, 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 which they named Agartha. If you guys want to read the entire thing, again, click on the link in the description below. It became a great center of world learning, and people flocked there from all over the world to enjoy its culture and civilization. However, a huge catastrophe supervened, but the realm of Agartha somehow survived, under the earth. Now, guys, this really isn't as black and white as everything else has been, but we do have a world that everyone, didn't really flock to because we all live in the same world, but everyone enjoyed its culture. This is, this is the basic world, guys. We all enjoy everyone else's culture. In real life, you guys travel to Europe and, other countries to experience the culture, to see new things, etc. That's nothing important. Or it is, but not in the context of this video. What's important is that there was a catastrophe that basically destroyed the surface of the Earth, but keep Agartha intact. So, basically, guys, the Earth was destroyed, but the center of it, which is Agartha, was okay. Now, what I can reference this back to is the Moon Easter egg. When you actually follow what Richtofen's doing, and he switches bodies with Samantha, and Maxis tries to stop him, he actually sends rockets from the Moon to destroy the Earth. Even though the outer rim or the outer edge of the Earth is destroyed, possibly, guys, Agartha is in this same realm. Therefore, even though the Earth has been destroyed, Agartha, which is in the middle of the Earth, is still okay. There are actually now two quotes I want to talk about, all for the same thing. This actually talks about Riese and the real Riese. First of all, guys, if anyone knows, Riese in real life was a secret project that really consisted of tunnels. Even though the map Riese is above ground, a lot of things that were done in the real, Nazi Germany version of, basically real life Riese was done underground in secret tunnels. Keep that in mind, guys, and I'll talk about this next. What's cool about this quote is it actually references real history by saying things about the Allied powers finding Riese. What it says, guys, is even more spectacular was an entire web of underground rocket and flying saucer facilities with an accompanying technology that still defies ordinary beliefs. The next quote says, with supposed channeled information from ETs, the Vril Society built the Vril machine. It was saucer-shaped. It was supposedly an interdimensional or time travel machine. The first piloted flight was in 1934. Now, this actually talks about a lot of things because, first of all, time travel is so important in the zombie storyline. We hear it in Call of the Dead when Richtofen, overpowers the original teleporter, and we're actually helping him to rebuild it to teleport on to Shangri-La. There's also every other part of the storyline going to Kino der Toten, going to Moon somehow. I mean, how did we get to Moon in the first place? There is a teleporter pod in Area 51, etc., guys. Time travel has a very important aspect to the zombie storyline. Also, guys, interdimensional realms also have a very big part, because what I'm going to be talking about later in maybe like the next week or so is how each map is its own dimension. There's nothing in the same world. It's very, very confusing, guys, but just keep that in mind. This, ties in with both of these very complex theories. So on screen now is actually what the real life Die Glock or the bell looked like. It was, based on, or the teleporters are based on this real image. And like I said, guys, it is shaped like a bell, and it was, a very, very high-tech piece of equipment. The image you guys see now is one of many from Google Images that you guys can actually search if you guys wanted to. Just simply go search Riese in real life. There's a ton of pictures of tunnels, and this is just one that I thought was the best quality and looked the nicest. So this is one of many images, like I said, guys, of Project Riese in real life. So it was a lot of underground secret stuff, but, there was some stuff on top of the ground or above ground, which I'll be showing you guys now. This third and final image is actually of the fly trap as we know it in Riese, but this was actually a place where they were actually trying to test anti-gravity, travel basically. So even though it looks just like a bunch of ruins now, at one time this was a very important piece of the facility itself. So this, guys, ties back with everything just about the, all the flying saucer technology, the teleporters, all that stuff. Everything is tied together in Riese with the Easter eggs we have and the teleporters. I think it's, guys, just another cool thing to talk about and something that really needs to be said in this video. So I've actually skipped over one of the quotes. I'm going to go back to it right now. What this quote says, "There is in one nature one potent force, by means whereof a single man who could possess it himself of it, and should know how to direct it, could revolutionize and change the face of the world." Now, guys, if this doesn't raise red flags on the Easter egg storyline for zombies, I don't know what will. The one man in Zombies we can refer to is Edward Richtofen, as seen here. The entire storyline for World at War and Black Ops 1, and even some of Black Ops 2, even all of Black Ops 2, is helping Richtofen harness this one power. In Moon, he finally does it, and he switches bodies with Samantha, and he's then, by himself, in control of the zombies. If that doesn't say, guys, that this storyline is based directly on this quote here, and this entire article, then I don't know how else to convince you. But anyways, guys, let's keep going. The backstory for this next quote says that there were 4 people total that met up in a bar in Vienna, I believe it was, Austria, 1917, 3 men and 1 woman. They were talking about, they discussed secret revelations, the coming of a new age, the sphere of destiny, the magical violet blackstone, and making contact with ancient peoples and distant worlds. Now, while I'm not really sure what the magical violet stone is, I really think that the sphere of destiny is the summoning key. It's a circle. It's been in a lot of maps, as my other video has stated, and it's not really your destiny, but you need it to keep moving on with the progression of the Easter egg. Therefore, continue on with your destiny in terms of surviving all these maps. Theoretically, guys, every time when we play zombies, we die, but the storyline will keep on progressing because it's a game for us, but in Treyarch's eyes, the storyline will keep on progressing. We can never actually win it, but somehow it does keep on progressing. Therefore, guys, I really do think that this sphere of destiny is actually the summoning key. Now, the ancient people, I could think maybe it would be like Shangri-La, going back in time with all of the the people that used to live there and worship Richtofen way back when, or possibly, guys, going back in time to Der Eisendrache, which is now the ice dragon. Or distant worlds, meaning somewhere else, and people have also said that Shangri-La wasn't even on the Earth. So, guys, this is just a lot of questions in this, quote, more than answers. So first of all, guys, if you guys have watched this video up until now, I want to give you guys a clap and a pat on the back. Please, guys, say comment saying I'm an MVP. Don't say I am personally, like Ryan is an MVP. Say you are. Because honestly, guys, watching a 13-minute video on the story is probably pretty tiresome. It's hard to follow, and I really do appreciate you guys watching this far. So with that being said, the next quote says, "A few children armed with Vril-powered rods are said capable of exterminating a race of over 22. Now, I cut off the 22 million because it was on the next line, and it would have looked really, really stupid being so small. So this basically, guys, is a quote talking about the Vril rod, and I'll be talking about that next. But what this says, guys, is a few children. Now, when you guys think of a few, you think of 2 or 3 kids. Now, we know for sure 2 of them right now, which is Edward and Samantha from the Origins cutscene. This just is very, very incredible because, first of all, we see 2 kids in the Origins cutscene. Second of all, we see the house that they are probably in floating on an asteroid. And third, we see that the house is actually in a drawing that says the children will stay safe. Fourth, guys, each of the characters was in control at one time. Richtofen is in control now, but Samantha was in control up until Moon. So this, guys, is really, you cannot overlook this. This is so this is so similar to, the Origins cutscene and the two kids actually fighting for power. It makes so much sense. The next thing to talk about, and we're actually getting pretty close to the end of the video, guys, is the mystery box. This next quote says, "The source of power was the black sun, an infinite beam of light which, though invisible to the human eye, is real and is there." Now, even though this is visible in our eyes on the game, the mystery box has an infinite beam of light going into the sky. The sun is in the sky, duh. And I just think this is really hard to overlook as well, because the only thing I can see wrong with this is that we can't see it. We can see it in this game, but could possibly, guys, the 4 characters in Zombies, or even all the characters in Zombies, because there are 3 different crews, they have the ability, or they're in this cult or something, to see this light that no one else normally can see. That just is another question to bring up later, but this really does talk about the mystery box in its entirety. So very quickly, I forgot to mention that the golden rod is actually the real power source for this cult. This is one of the ways they get power. This is it holds a lot of power, guys, and the golden rod is also seen in every single map as well. I mean, Call of the Dead, Shangri-La when Richtofen carries it, Moon when it charges up in the computer, everything, guys. So that rod has a very strong connection to the Vril-ya and the Black Sun cult. And finally, guys, for today's video, the last and probably the coolest reference so far is talking about the crazy place and Agartha. So what this says is also referred to as Ultima Thule. It was supposedly a gateway to another world. Thule was therefore recognized as a place where humans could, by whatever means, leave the Earth. It also stood at the portal of the Hollow Earth. Now, what this talks about, in my opinion, is the crazy place, and more, importantly, it talks about Agartha. Now, how I mean this, guys, is first of all, the crazy place is in Agartha, or this is Agartha. But if you guys do the Origins Easter egg, which is a bitch to do, by the way, so I can see why it's referenced here, you guys actually open up a gateway, and you guys can actually leave, or, start the cutscene, but basically, guys, leave the, Agartha, or leave that world. So I'm going to have an image on screen now, but it basically just talks about, this as a place, and Origins in the crazy place, once you guys have opened up the rift or opened up the portal, you guys can actually end the game. This, I believe, is opening that, Hollow Earth and leaving the world. So, in my opinion, guys, for that reason, that's one of the coolest things in this game, and in, this referencing article, because it just talks about one of the hardest Easter eggs and one of the most complex Easter eggs to understand so far in Zombies. So, with that being said, guys, this is the end of the video. If you guys have watched it all the way through, I applaud you. Making this video took about 3 hours just of talking and editing, and I'm guessing it's going to take a lot longer to render the video out. So, if you guys could leave a like on the video if you have enjoyed it, share this video with your friends, guys. 1 like and 1 share equals 1 mind-blown Zombies player. I really appreciate that, guys. It's taken a lot of time to make this video, and it will probably take a lot of time to upload. So if you guys can get this out there to other people, that'd be great. Also, guys, leave your comments in the comment section below, and subscribe if you're new to my channel for the latest and the greatest Black Ops 3 Zombies content, especially the Zombies storyline. But once again, guys, thank you all for watching today's video. It's been almost 20 minutes, and I'm going to go and eat dinner, so thank you guys all for watching. My name is Ryan, and I'm out. Peace.